Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeOnLocation.tv. I'm here at Ohayocon 2012. I have with me the actor and friend of mine, Mr. Brad Swaile. How you doing?
It's Swaile, but thank you very much.
Yep. I'll put a little emphasis on it.
There you go. You got to think about it this way. Okay, if I was to own an orca, it would be Brad's whale. Brad Swaile. Sorry, happens all the time. For some reason, the E on the end of my name, people want to pronounce it for some reason, make my name sound fancier. I've gotten Swahili before, too. Go figure.
Okay, so a quick, easy question. How'd you guys get started in the world of anime and acting?
Oh, anime and acting?
Or just acting?
Two questions. All right. Well, I got started because of my sister. I have a sister who's a year older than me, and she got really interested in theater when we were kids, and I got really jealous. That's kind of how it worked, right? You know, Mom, I want to do that too. So my parents were very supportive, and they allowed me to kind of get into the theater, and at that time I was acting in a place called the Vancouver Youth Theater, which was a really great organization. It was basically kids that were cast into acting troupes, and we'd build a show and then tour it around to elementary schools and high schools and various organizations and things. Well, at one point, my sister was in a show, I was in a different show. A spot opened up on her show, so I auditioned for it, and I got it. So we got to be in the same touring troupe, which was very cool when you're a kid. It's incredible, right? Now, at that time, there was an agency which was right across the street. So they'd kind of keep an eye on the kids that were coming through the theater. And so they approached me and my sister at one point and asked if we wanted to join their agency. They said they'd start sending us out on auditions for movies and TV shows and commercials and things. So we said, oh, yes, please. That sounds excellent. So that's kind of how I went from theater into on-camera work. And then, just kind of out of the blue, I had my first audition for a cartoon, which was a series called My Little Ponytails, and I got it. And I mean, I've been doing voice ever since, as much as I can get. And I kind of phased out the theater for now, just because it's really time-consuming. I phased out the on-camera stuff because I really didn't enjoy it as much. But the voice, for whatever reason, like right from auditioning to recording to watching the shows, and even now getting to come to events like this, I love every step of the way. So, I mean, it's something that I'll continue to do as long as I'm able to.
Okay, so you hinted on the My Little Pony Tales show back in the 1990s. What's it like to now see the new My Little Ponies on the air, and how, like, gigantic the fandom is amongst older generations?
Okay, that's pretty funny. I kind of recently discovered a new term that was brought to my attention called a brony. Interesting. Some tells me the demographic, the original demographic for this new little My Little Pony was probably a bit smaller, and the show's become so popular, the demographic has grown leaps and bounds. So it's really exciting to see, cosplayers in pony outfits, and, I've seen guys walking around brushing My Little Pony hair. Very interesting, but it's cool to have it back because, I have pony experience.
So, now, we don't get a lot of Canadian actors. How do you try to balance potentially working in the United States along with working at Canadian studios?
Oh, well, I guess that's a good point. I'm from Vancouver, born and raised, and that's where I do my work. One thing that's great about the technology that's kind of expanding the industry is you can pretty much do this from a lot of different locations anymore. And I mean, I'm lucky in that Vancouver has for quite a while been a hotspot for voice, not only anime, but also, prelay shows, American cartoons, video games, commercials, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, right now I'm tucked into my little corner of Canada, and I'm happy to be there.
Okay. And, it says in your bio that you worked on Kimba the White Line. What's it like to know that you worked on a Dr. Tezuka title?
You kidding me? I mean, Kimba has been a staple of pop culture for so long. When I found out about that audition, I kind of flipped out a little bit. And when I found out that I was cast, I flipped out a little bit more. It was a real treat getting to work on it. I mean, there's not much more I can say. It was a pleasure.
Okay. And you've also worked on the hit show in XMen. What was it like knowing that it was actually on broadcast television, both here in the United States and potentially in Canada?
It was great because it was easy for me to watch Saturday mornings, man. I had to get up early, but it was totally worth it. I mean, that show, X-Men Evolution, I loved. A really cool thing about that show, one of many, was there was a lot of actors that I'd worked on anime titles with, so I had never worked directly with them. Because we go into the booth at separate times and whatnot. So now working on X-Men, because it was a prelay American cartoon, all the actors are in the same room. So all these actors that I'd interacted with in anime titles, I was now able to interact with them directly. And of course, they're all mutant superheroes, so it's not just very prim actors standing by their microphone. They're all in character. You can kind of see their superpowers as you look down the line. It was an incredible experience.
Okay, and then now what's cool about you is that you have a normal daytime job as a graphic designer. Does that help you with your voice acting?
Well, it can't hurt. I mean, knowledge and interest in a variety of fields is always going to be able to cross over into other interests and hobbies. One thing that I guess I do appreciate a lot is I've always been an art guy. I used to get in trouble a lot for doing little doodles in math class in the margins of my notebooks and stuff, and now it's one of my jobs. So it also kind of really it helped me get into the whole anime world, because the visual stylings of a lot of anime titles are just breathtaking, incredible, super creative, and all that. The first time I saw Akira, or Akira if you prefer, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
So to get to work on a show and watch it while you're recording it becomes inspiration, and I guess my art background kind of helps me appreciate that.
That's cool. And it also says that you play the drums. Now, we've talked to Kyle Bear, who plays it too, and he said that he's like, I tap my finger to the beat, as a drummer, so that I know like when the beeps are coming. So does that do you kind of the same thing, as a drummer, keep with the beeps and all that?
That's actually a really good question. I think that there's a lot of mechanics involved in recording anime, because there's a cartoon mouth flap that you're looking at and trying to match, and every show kind of seems to have a different pacing to it, thematically and just mechanically. So I think having that type of a rhythmic background, being a drummer and whatnot, does help you, I guess at the very least, understand the mechanics that are involved, and allows you to kind of pick it up maybe a bit quicker than somebody that doesn't have that type of experience.
Okay. And is there any upcoming projects that you can talk about, and any final messages you want to get out to fans?
Well, you nailed it right there, that I can talk about. I got this one project. I mean, there's a few things that are coming down the pipe that I'm not allowed to talk about. There's one in particular that I've been sitting on for like almost a year now, and that's going to be happening pretty soon, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I'll be able to talk about them when they come out, I guess, and then we'll discuss them in great detail. As far as a message to the fans, you guys are awesome. The fan support that I get coming to conventions is absolutely incredible. We kind of work in a bit of a vacuum in the studio, especially with anime where you're just alone in a booth. So to come out here and see how popular some of these shows have become in North America is really inspiring. The fan art that I receive, oh, I love it. Being an art guy, I mean, it's right up my alley. And, the acting industry in general is kind of a tough one. You have to have a pretty thick skin. It's an industry of rejection, so you got to be able to, battle your way through it. A lot of times, I'll get down on myself for whatever reason and feel like, maybe it's something that I should, think about moving away from. And then I come here, and the support that I get is very encouraging and allows me to keep pushing digging a little bit deeper to find the energy to stick with it, and the payoff is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for coming to Ohayocon 2012 and AnimeOnLocation.tv. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine.